Nobody likes getting cheated out of a win because of improperly resolved effects. I know it has a really bitter aftertaste, like, oh man, I should have won that one. Yeah, we've heard that before, but here we are. The slip has been signed, but there are things that you can do by, equipping yourself with the right ruling knowledge. And that's what we're doing here today in this ruling episode. This is a ruling quiz to see whether or not you know your Tenpai ruling, your Yubel ruling, and even a little bit of SP Little Knight ruling. Hey guys, this is Tom Box, and I'm not gonna lie, I've seen a lot of people get screwed by these particular rulings and resolve them improperly and cost them the match. I'm not saying that they're doing it intentionally, and at least they shouldn't be doing it intentionally, but sometimes they put up such a good argument because they believe in the improper ruling so hard that, they double down on it. And, at a YCS level thing, they're going to call a judge, they're going to appeal, they're going to do all the stops just to try to have their way. But they're not going to have their way if you know your stuff, and the judges themselves know their stuff as well. So this could be a good refresher for you. See if you can get all these questions right now, even throwing a couple of bonus rulings in there, just so that there's less judge calls for you and you get to play properly all the way through. All right, that's all I'm offering to you guys. So make sure you guys hit that like button, hit subscribe, ding that notification bell, and let's go to question number 1. Okay, so first of all, just a little footnote here that this episode looks a little bit different than a typical ruling episode. It's because I got a flight to catch in 3 hours, so I don't have time to animate it, nor do I have the time to do any of that stuff. So we're gonna go back to the classic one. We'll jump back to it in the future when I don't have to rush super hard. So question number 1, we have Sangen Summoning and Hydra versus Yubel and Samsara D Lotus. Relevant effects here, we have Sangen Summoning, and the other effect that is in question is going to be Samsara D Lotus, and it's gonna be Samsara D Lotus's effect to change a monster's effect to destroy one Yubel monster on the field, okay? And as for the Sangen Summoning relevant effect, it's going to be during your main phase 1, Fire Dragons monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Okay, so here is the scenario. While Sangen Summoning is on the Tenpai player's field, and Yubel and Samsara D Lotus are on the Yubel player's field, the Tenpai player normal summons out a Hydra, uses the effect, and the Yubel player chains the Samsara D Lotus effect to change the effect to destroy one Yubel monster on the field. What happens during resolution? Well, there's only 2 outcomes. A, does the Samsara D Lotus actually resolve? Or B, the Samsara D Lotus will basically resolve without effect? You guys let me know in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, 0. So we get to resolution, and does that Hydra get to set or add a Tenpai spell or trap card onto the field? The answer is no, it does not. In fact, Samsara D Lotus will still be able to change the effect of Tenpai Dragon Hydra. And why is that? What happened to Sangen Summoning protecting me from activated effects? Well, here's the thing. Sangen Summoning does make Fire Dragon monster you control unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. However, Samsara D Lotus's effect does not count as affecting the monster. That's right. This is something that has been established already. So changing a monster effect does not count as affecting the monster, and therefore Sangen Summoning will not protect it. It will not make it unaffected. And where does the precedent case come? Well, actually, it's from like Masterpiece, the True Draco Slaying King versus like Dark World Brainwashing, or Grapha, the Dragon Lord of Dark World versus like Miscellaneous Saurus. They're not gonna get that level of protection. Alright, so that is one of the things that you need to keep in mind. Even if you have a blanket protection, even if your monster is unaffected by other effects, your effects can still be altered. And so yeah, Samsara D Lotus can still bypass Sangen Summoning. So some people I've noticed have been illegally still searching their cards. So keep that in mind, alright? Make sure that they don't get that search if you're doing this Yubel play against Tenpai Dragon. See, that was pretty easy, right? Now, on to question number 2. We have Sangen Summoning and Hydra once again, and this time there's a Raigeki added to the mix, and there is also an SP Little Knight. So, relevant effect, of course, with Sangen Summoning, the Fire Dragons being unaffected by the opponent's activated effects, and SP Little Knight, of course, it's going to be the chaining effect. So, while Sangen Summoning is on the field on the Tenpai player side, and SP Little Knight is on the opposing side, the Tenpai player activates Raigeki to clear the board. The opponent attempts to chain SP Little Knight to the Raigeki and targeting that Hydra. So what happens on resolution? This is multiple choice now. A, the activation is illegal because Hydra is unaffected. B, the activation is legal, but SP will remain on the field because both could not be banished. Or C, SP will resolve by banishing itself only until the end phase, and the Hydra will remain unaffected due to the field spell. Is it A, B, or C? you have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is C. SP will resolve by banishing itself off of the field until the end phase, and the Hydra will remain on the field due to the field spell. The field spell will protect it from SP's activated effect. However, it's going to resolve as much as possible. And I know you hear this saying a lot. Oh, you have to banish both or it doesn't work. That is a shorthand saying that has led to this particular scenario where people just, oh, your SP stays on the field. The Raigeki will destroy it. So, no, the Raigeki will not be able to destroy this SP because SP would have, dodged it off the field by now. The reason why is that there's still 2 monsters remaining on the field, so it will attempt to banish both. So target 2 monsters on the field, including a monster you control, banish both until the end phase. Both is such a keyword because you definitely need to have 2 during resolution, and that's kind of how you should be interpreting it. And now, if one of the monster is actually missing, if a target is missing, then none of the banishing will occur, and that's kind of like a little weak point towards the wording of both. But if the monster is unaffected, during the resolution, it will attempt to banish both, and it will do as much as possible, and if one stays on the field, one stays on the field. But it's still attempted to do it for both, okay? So, does that make sense? To give you an example, think about DPE. DPE also has a destroy both clause in the resolution. And if somehow during the resolution of DPE there wasn't enough cards, then it won't destroy the other card as well. So it has to destroy 2 cards. Even if you target a card that cannot be destroyed by card effect, it will still destroy the 1 card that can still be destroyed. But if there's just cards missing and there isn't 2 available options during the resolution, because again DP does not target, then the action cannot be performed and the effect will resolve without effect. This particular ruling also applies to Raid Raptors, because Raid Raptors, they put out unaffected monsters like Ultimate Falcon, Rising Rebellion Falcon. These 2 particular monsters, aren't affected by anything. So you can still use SP Little Knight to attempt to target it so that you can save your SP Little Knight, maybe help use it to climb into access code in the future to run over those monsters. But I've also seen people, oh yeah, I'm gonna destroy it by battle now because now it's stuck on the field, or like, oh, this Raigeki is going to resolve and destroy the SP Little Knight. But that's not how it works. The SP Little Knight will be able to successfully dodge that Raigeki. Question number 3. We're looking into the Unchained stuff, which is kind of related to the Yubel. So this time we have Sangen Summoning Hydra versus Unchained Soul of Anguish. So Unchained Soul of Anguish can target a monster your opponent controls immediately after this card resolves, or this effect resolves. Link summon 1 dark monster except for Anguish by using that opponent's monster and this card you control as material. Okay, so while Sangen Summoning is on the Tenpai player's field and the Unchained Anguish is on the opponent's side of the field, Unchained player attempts to use the effect targeting a Hydra on the field. So what happens during resolution? So is it A, it can use the Hydra as link material, as now they're attempting to perform a link summon, and that's not part of the activated effect, or B, nothing happens because the Hydra is currently unaffected by the activated effect of Unchained Soul of Anguish. This is a 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And the answer is B. Nothing happens during the resolution because the Hydra is currently unaffected by the activated effect thanks to Sangen Summoning. So the link summon using the opponent monster applies as an activated effect. So the activated effect will be attempting to use the monster as a target, as a link material for the link summon. However, since it's considered as an activated effect, you cannot use that monster as a link material while it is unaffected by activated effects. So this is not like Underworld Goddess Summoning Edition, nor is it like Lair of Darkness's continuous effect. This is still technically an activated effect. It's an ignition effect after all, so it is activated, and attempting to use your opponent's monster as a link material through the effect, that does count as the activated effect, so you will not be able to use that Hydra while it's protected. So in other words, you're still also protected from, say, Unchained Soul of Rage as well while you have Sangen Summoning. So these are kind of the more Yubel-esque things. However, you can still, make Underworld Goddess if you can just make it normally. And you can still use IP Masquerena to do so because, Underworld Goddess is a summoning condition, so it's not even an effect for one thing. And then Lair of Darkness is effect to tribute away your opponent's, like, dark monster or whatever. That particular card effect is a continuous effect, so that's definitely not an activated effect either. And understanding the distinction between activated effects and non-activated effects is pretty crucial for understanding Sangen Summoning. One additional ruling I'm going to throw in there because it does matter to Tenpai players, especially if you're going to be playing against Yubel players. Tenpai Dragon Hydra versus Nightmare Pain. The Tenpai player, any fire dragon that's involved with a battle, even if you're swinging into a Yubel monster, you will not be taking the reflected damage from Nightmare Pain, because Nightmare Pain changes the battle damage to be reflected. You're just reflecting the damage, but the battle still involves a fire dragon, and so you don't take the damage. So at least you're not taking like double damage, like the effect damage plus, you know, the battle damage. But if you get a half-ass Tenpai Dragon board and you're forced to attack because Nightmare Pain forces you, at least you're not going to OTK yourself along the way if you can maintain the Pydra. Which is also why Skill Drain is such a deadly card against Tenpai Dragon, because forcing you to attack while the Pydra is negated, yeah, that part is going to suck a lot. But for the most part, you should be able to survive thanks to Pydra. And maintaining your Pydra, getting to Warp Gate, that's kind of the ideal goal into the Samurai Destroyer. Anyways, I'm deviating. This is the ruling episode after all. That's all I got for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed this ruling video, hopefully you learned a thing or two. Hopefully you won't get screwed over by Tenpai. You won't get screwed over by, I guess, the Yubel cards either. So make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button, hit subscribe, ding that notification bell. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you have a blessed day, and I'll see you all in the next one.